A nice cup of coffee actually for this afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Tea and Chat with me, Basil. I'm performing from Trowbridge Library, and I'm going to do my Tea and Chat poetry on two things. So it's lovely spring weather at the minute, beautiful sunshine outside, I can see out the window just over here. And it's also was British Science Week last week, so we're going to spring into science with our poetry this week. I've just had a cup of tea here, bicycles as well, which I love, some of you might know. And we'll start with a favourite of everybody's. Springtime, what comes along but the daffodils? So we're going to start with the Daffodils from the nation's favourite poems, number 5 in this selection, but always up there. William Wordsworth's The Daffodils. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, and all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. A favourite for everyone. You might have joined in as I was doing that. It'd be lovely if you did. I can't hear you, sadly, but it's a great one, isn't it, to start with? Okay, poems about springtime. There were masses. I did have a little look around and see what else I could find, and there were just so many. But I was trying to work out what to do as a display as well. I'm actually in a little meeting room just off the library in County Hall at the minute. And I pulled off one of our display units from back in the library. This is the houseplants display, kind of sciencey, kind of springy as well. And I did the little slogan that my colleague Laura found pretty fly for a cacti. Not grammatically correct, but some of you might remember that song from the late 90s by The Offspring, called something similar. Pretty fly for a white guy. Okay, well, back to the poems. I think we'll do a Wessex poet, old Thomas Hardy, and he did a poem called Weathers. Two different weathers, both springtime weathers. See if you can guess which one's which. Weathers by Thomas Hardy. This is the weather the cuckoo likes, and so do I. When showers betumble, chestnut spikes and nestlings fly, and the little brown nightingale bills his best, and they sit outside at the traveller's rest, when maids come forth sprig muslin dressed, and citizen dreams of the south and the west, and so do I. This is the weather the shepherd shuns, and so do I, when breeches drip in brown and duns, and thresh and ply, and hill-hid tides throb throw on throw, and meadow rivulets overflow, and drops on gate bars hang in a row, and rooks in families homeward go, and so do I. I really enjoy Thomas Hardy's poetry. I do like this one as well. It's very natural, very nature-loving, like a lot of his poems. But I love the alliteration of the rain coming down the hills. The hill-hid tides throb throw on throw. It's quite a challenge to say, I have to say. I did rehearse that a little bit before. So the second verse is all about rain, which we've had this week. I think yesterday evening was very rainy around here. And the first verse, the weather the cuckoo likes, sunshine, springtime weather. What we've got now outside and what we had over at the weekend. I hope you're enjoying a bit of the sunshine, a bit of the greenery coming through, the daffodils and all that as well. Okay, so that's The Weathers by Thomas Hardy. A lovely poem. Okay. I'm going to stick with the weather theme. I've got a very short poem. We're going sort of sciencey a little bit as well. We can do weather and environment and that kind of stuff as well. So we're veering that way as well. This is a collection from Christina Rossetti's Poetry and Prose. Just a very short little extract about the wind. And it's called Who Has Seen the Wind? Who has seen the wind? Neither I nor you. But when the leaves hang trembling, the wind is passing through. Who has seen the wind? Neither you or I. But when the wind trees bow down their heads, the wind is passing by. Kind of a little bit of a conundrum, that. Who's seen the wind? Well, nobody. We just see the trees blowing around, don't we? Or the leaves, or whatever. It's quite nice, isn't it? Very short one by Christina Rossetti, the famous pre-Raphaelite poet, one of the Rossetti families, very artistic, capable family back at the end of the 19th century. She's very well famous for a couple of things. The Goblin Market was her favourite famous long poem, and she also wrote the words for that great Christmas carol, In the Bleak Midwinter. Not going to sing that now, not at springtime, but it's a lovely, one of my favourite carols, definitely. I don't know about you and what you like. Okay, so that's the wind. Who has seen the wind? We're going to do one more spring poem from a poet from a long time ago, from back in the 18th century. Looking at, we're going to William Blake, Hymn of the Tiger, which I know I do quite a lot. I'm not going to do the tiger this time. This is called Spring. It's from a lovely little collection called Poems for Happiness, which were collected by the Reverend Richard Coles. He who does the Saturday morning show on Radio 4, amongst other things. You may know him from that. And this is a little poem by William Blake called Spring, which is quite apt. Sound the flute, now it's mute. Birds delight, day and night. Nightingale in the dale, lark in sky. Merrily, merrily, merrily to welcome in the year. Little boy, full of joy. Little girl, sweet and small. Cock does crow, so do you. Merry voice, infant noise. Merrily, merrily, merrily to welcome in the year. Little lamb, here I am. Come and lick my white neck. Let me pull your soft wool. Let me kiss your soft face. Merrily, merrily we welcome in the year. Spring by William Blake. To kind of take us away from the springy time things back into maybe a bit more of the sciencey, mathematically things, which I'm going to do for the second half of this poetry tea and chat. I've got another William Blake short poem from his longer work, The Auguries of Innocence. You will know this because it's very famous, but it's one beloved particularly by mathematicians trying to work out what big numbers and infinity means, okay? So from Auguries of Innocence by William Blake. To see heaven, to see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. From Auguries of Innocence by William Blake, beloved by mathematicians. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed that selection of poems. We're going to go a little bit more into sort of sciencey technology type of things now. Cheers. Okay, I'm going to have another swig from my tea as well. With my bike on, I've got one of those at home, and I've also got one of those folding bicycles as well, but I don't have one of those. I do enjoy cycling a lot, okay. so cheers to that. It's my mug at work now. Okay, well, I'm going to do a lovely poem. It's more about flying and a little bit sort of mystical and magical. I have done it before. It is one of my favourites. I'm going to do this one for Roger as well. But it's called High Flight by John Gillespie McGee. and he was a fighter pilot in World War II, and this is kind of him describing about flying a Spitfire, I think, in World War II. Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds, and done 100 things you have not dreamed of, wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air, up, up the long, delirious, burning blue. I've topped the wind-swept heights with easy grace, where lark never flew, nor even eagle, and while with silent, lifting mind I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God. High Flight by John Gillespie Magee. I'm reading that one in memory of Roger. Okay, who loved planes. Okay, right, I'm going to do 2 more poems today. One I'm very excited about because it's a world premiere performance of a poem by Matt Harvey. But before that, I thought we'd do just a nice little limerick, a very sciencey limerick. It's all about relativity. Okay, and if you go faster, the faster you go is one of the theories of Einstein's relativity. You can actually slow down time. Okay, so this is a sort of limerick making fun of that, and I have learned it off by heart, so I can look you in the eye while I'm doing this, which is quite nice. It's about a young lady named Bright. There was a young lady named Bright who could travel much faster than light. She set out one day in a relative way and returned home the previous night. There was a young lady named Bright who could travel much faster than light. She set out one day in a relative way and returned home the previous night. Okay, a bit of a silly one. So it comes to the last poem that I'm going to do today. It's a poem about maths. I studied maths at university, as did my wife, and there used to be a little poem section in the back of the newspaper, a Saturday paper a few years ago, by Matt Harvey, who's a poet who also presents Poetry Please on Radio 4, amongst other things. And he did this poem, which we thought was brilliant, kind of summed up our love and bewilderment of maths. Hopefully it will do the same for you. On the back of this poem, we decided to go and see him do a performance in Bath a few years ago as well. And I did email him just before to ask him permission to read this poem, and he was absolutely thrilled and told me that nobody actually has read it out before. He never has at any of his performance pieces that he's done. So here goes. The long title of this poem is Sonnet, celebrating the elegance, ingenuity and sheer cerebral power of Darren Crowdy's creative use of Schottky groups to complete the Schwarz-Christoffel formula so that it works with irregular shapes and those with holes. You're clever, you. Far out. You're way out there beyond the boson layer where we reside. You plot the line fantastic in the air, where ancient Greek and modern geek collide. You do a jazz geometry. It can't be taught. Express yourself in dancing neuroglyphs, placing in brackets things that can't be taught, then multiplying by their absent widths. You're out there, where the Holy Grail or chalice is, where mathematics, like me, can hardly breathe. Then with applied a complex analysis, you bring it down to earth just for a wheeze. You're far out, so far out, and so clever, that when you say eureka, we say whatever. So that's Jazz Geometry by Matt Harvey. Thank you very much for Matt for allowing me to read that on this tea and chat today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the other poems as well. Just send us a message or get in touch if you if you like it, and if you have any requests, happy to do them next time. Keep an eye out. We've got Philip and Peter and Jess going to be doing the next few poetry sessions online, so keep an eye out for them. Every 4 or 5 weeks or so we do them at the minute, don't we? Okay, so before I go, I wanted to just tell you about 2 things that are happening. One is a very exciting mathematical thing as well that's happening this week. So our quiz on Thursday night on Facebook, look out for it, is a maths quiz created by me, hopefully not too difficult, but have a go and tell me what you think as well. Maybe you'll feel I'm too far out on that boson layer. Sometimes I feel it, I have to say. And then next week, there's a lovely celebration of poetry, Poems for a Challenging World, created by Civic Leicester, hosted by Civic Leicester online, in conjunction with 2 organisations supporting refugees and the migrants. Okay, and this is for World Poetry Day. Look out on our Facebook page. We're going to be putting a post out later on today, and you can join on Eventbrite if you wish to go to that. I'd well recommend it. It'd be great. So I'll finish there. Everyone stay safe. Take care. I'm going to have another swig of coffee while I say bye-bye to you. So bye-bye. Take care.